Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you very much for watching or listening. Liam Hartery here today with another episode of Presenting Champions. Today, joined by the founder and creator of Spartan Bare Fight Club, the man, the myth, the legend, Christian Roberts. We were just talking just now. This is year 7 for Spartan, and the brand is only getting bigger and stronger, and the fights are getting better and better quality every time. So today we're going to be doing an update about what's happening in Spartan in the world of bare knuckle pit fighting for 2023. Going to be a big year. So Christian, thank you, mate, for coming on the show, and it's great to have you, man. It's really good to have you here.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. It's an absolute pleasure. You're one of the few men I will give an interview to. So, yeah, it's good to be back, man. I don't really do interviews, as I said to you earlier on anymore, but, sometimes you've got to connect with the outer world and let them know what your plans are. So, no better way than doing it through Mr. Hartley.
Well, thank you, man. And like I was saying before, the respect goes both ways. You've always been good to me. I've always done my best to be good back. So, mutual respect there. I love what you're doing with Spartan and the opportunities you're giving people. So let's talk about that. I mean, let's talk about what 2023 has in store for you as a company, as an organization. I've got a few more specific things to hone in on afterwards. But first, let's talk about the broad strokes and how things are looking, basically.
Yeah, man. So we come into year 7 strong, man. We're in a strong position. So we've got fighters. We've got fighters, real good fighters at the moment. Arguably some of the best out there. So we've got a good stable. We've got a decent venue there. We're filling that venue every show now. So growth is steady. Let's not fly. Let's walk. It's a turtle race, man. So we'll see how we get on. But yeah, the plans for the future are looking good, man. I mean, Spartan Wars 13 on March the 18th. That's going to be the first pay-per-view event of the year. So that'll be covered by Combat Sports now. In the next week or so, I expect to inflict 2 more ring companies out there to go under the Spartan banner. There'll be one in Yorkshire and there'll be one in Cheshire. So, we're going to throw our hat into the ring fighting as well, and that should make us, on my reckoning, the only company in the world that does all arenas under one roof. So, if you're out there and you're a fighter, we got your poison, man. Come and see us.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, definitely taking over in that way because I know you're doing the cage, the pit, the ring. Amazing. Talk to us a little bit about the venue as well, because the last couple of shows, obviously, they've been taking place in a very, plush hotel and everything. I've seen bits and pieces to do with that. Yeah, just talk us through, what the venue is and what you think of the atmosphere of the shows being indoors instead of outdoors. Obviously, that's a change. And just that side of things would be great to touch on as well.
Um, the outdoor thing, we're not really allowed to do. Um, I took a phone call off the authorities that told me that, listen, if you're in the middle of a field having a show and someone takes head trauma, and an ambulance gets stuck on the field, that's a difference in life and death. And listen, fight of safety first always. So, am I sad that we're not outside? Absolutely gutted. My biggest fear was the atmosphere would be taken away in an indoor arena. That's wrong. I mean, if you watched the last show, I think half of Wakefield was there. So, they were climbing on the bales, they were jumping up and down, their heads were hitting the skylights. Mate, nothing was took from that atmosphere. It was like a violent version of Woodstock, but in a 4-star hotel in Bradford. The Bradford Hotel are brilliant. They've been helping us out. So, we're having our shows there. They're going well at the moment. They're growing steadily. I expect to be moving venues soon into a bigger venue. So, yeah, it's looking good for 2023. We've got a steady flow of fighters coming through now. We've got some tough kids on the books at the moment, So, yeah, man, I feel confident coming into this year.
Absolutely. And talk to us a little bit about some top talent to watch as well. Now, just to precursor this, obviously, it's not playing favorites or anything like that. Anyone who gets in the pit or the ring or the cage or whatever they do, they all deserve respect. But still, it'd be great to get your thoughts as a promoter and, with all your fight experience, basically, on who some of the most exciting talents are going to be this year that you reckon to keep an eye on.
Nathan Dixon just recently won the strawweight world title. He can fight, man. He's unbeaten. God, you know what? I hate these questions because tomorrow, or when this interview comes out, then I'll have about 20 inboxes of fighters going, "What about me, boss? What about me, boss? What about me, boss?" So, Nathan Dixon will start the lower weights going up. Middleweight. I was very impressed, even in defeat with Dino Hunt last time out in the middleweight division. Adi Doherty, the British champion, just recently won the British title against Dan Ward from Newcastle, and what a fighter he is. He lost to Greg Marshall first time out. Greg had to relinquish the title, moving on to other things, which still big shout out to Greg Marshall. Still love that guy. But yeah, the talent in the middleweight division is coming through with Dino Hunt, with AD and a few others. You're going up the scale now. Light heavyweights, you got Marty Barnes. He's going up and down up the cruiser and light heavy. He's enjoying some good scraps at the minute. We took Callum on just for air miles at Fest Free. Both opponents didn't turn up, and both of them just walked over to each other and said, "Should we have a scrap anyway?" Different weight divisions. Marty got in, mixed it up with Cal. He was the British cruiserweight champion at the time. Marty's light heavyweight British. The belts weren't on the line, but that was a barn burner while it lasted for a minute. But Marty Barnes is going to be one to watch this year. So is Cal. Make no mistake about that. Already established. Well, about Andrew Anthony, the heavyweight. He's already won Bad to the Bone super heavyweight world title. He's going to be one to watch this year in the Bales. He absolutely tries to decapitate you with every punch. So he's in the right arena because there's nowhere to go. So, yeah, we've got some good talent coming through. I've got a kid coming through called Lee Murray. He's going to be a heavyweight. I'll put the rest of the heavyweights in Britain on notice now. This kid will be tough to beat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited, man. There's probably a few I haven't mentioned, but everyone knows who the fighters are. They know who the warriors are. They know who the strap holders are. The ones who are in contention. So, yeah, it's exciting times at Spartan, man. We've got some really good fighters.
Absolutely, there's some amazing talent on the show, and like I said to you before, I mean, I kind of put you on the spot there with that one because it's a big question. But it's just good to highlight a few names, international talent as well. I think it's good to touch on because you've had a few different things. I mean, I've seen things going on to do with Mexico and something happening out there. I've seen the Donny, the Canadian fighter, he's come over as well. I've seen some great talent. So talk to us a little bit about like the global nature of this, because I think that's really exciting as well, that people are now being attracted to Spartan from like different countries and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, can you really say you're a world champion if you're not beating someone who's worthy? So, the idea was with Robbie Adamson was world title holder at that given time. He was British champion, or he could have been world champion actually. And then there was no one in the stable that was going to really, cause him too many problems at the top level. So that's when you have to start looking further afield. And then we got Gilberto Aguilar, who'd been asking to come on for quite a while from Mexico. So he come over and he had his fight with Robbie, and he rescued the world title away from Robbie. Then he come back over and he beat Darnell John, famously. In two absolute cracking fights they were. But he beat both those guys, and now he's world lightweight, world middleweight champion. So who's going to beat him? Where does it end? You just keep going around the world till you get harder people. So, I know the Bales have been done before I've done them, but no one was doing it like this. Nobody. So as you say, we've had Burgess Luca over to fight Darnell John from Italy. He's fought Don Wanch, Canada. Gilberto Aguilar, Mexico. Stanley Viking over from Norway, but obviously on the day he got poorly and couldn't fight. But we've had him over as well, and there'll be more this year. You know, I'm talking to different people now abroad, and
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that one fight as well. Was Gilberto and Daniel John? That was the one that went the distance, right? That was the one that went was that the one that was like a split decision or something like that? Because that's very
yeah,
unusual when
it was a split decision by the judges, or the judge, shall I say? And you know, having looked back at it, you know, at the time I thought it was a draw, but you know, when I look back at it now and filming, like Dean quite rightly said, Gilberto got the cleaner working over the longer time. So you know, and I think that paid dividend the next day. And I think Darnell will tip his hat to say he sent me a picture, and one side of his ribs looked like a piece of raw liver. So you know, that damage doesn't win fights, but it tells a story.
Yeah, yeah, big time, big time. Just wanted to highlight because obviously a lot of the fights are, as you well know, I mean it's minutes, isn't it? You know, but I mean that one going to a decision was something different, something special. Also, go only the last couple of things now, but going forward into 2023, want to clarify here, what is the situation with King of the Streets as well? Because I've seen that you've put out a notice saying that certain people are not welcome on the show, you know, for various reasons. Does that still stand? If it does, you know, what's the reasoning behind it? It's not to sort of generate any beefs with anybody here, you know, but it's just out of curiosity, the reasoning behind that decision would be of interest to people, you know?
Yeah, well, I'll reiterate what I said in my statement that I released. Is first and foremost, don't be confused in what I'm saying. I like watching King of the Streets. Do I think King of the Streets has a place? Of course it does. It's got an audience, so people like it. You know, so do I think it ties in with what I'm doing at Spartan? No. Now, I'll point out again that I don't mind watching it and I don't mind seeing people on it and stuff. But me personally, if you've been in fights where there's no rules, yeah, and you get in that pit where it's really heated and you have that split second flash in your mind, right, I'll do what I fucking want. You know, I don't want that on my show. Yeah. Secondly, it's an underground fight show. It's illegal,
Mm.
right? Not knocking it. I enjoy watching it. I'll keep saying it, but it's illegal. Now, if we're going on to can people fight on the show if they've been on it, then no, they can't. Now, if you want to refer to Ben Waddington, his fight was 30 seconds long and it didn't go around the globe viral. If we're referring to Bash Curry and Alex Ebrington, where an ear was bitten off and spat out, you know, so that does go viral and it goes around the world. Yeah. So that can affect me getting a license if it, you know, because I have to submit who's on my fight card to the council anyway and the local authorities. I always do that, so they know who's been fighting on the show. So if they connect them names to that video, they could say to me, "Well, they were on this thing, and we're not going to give you a license." I do things above board and put the right licenses in place because my sport is legalized. You know, I am licensed. You know, I do everything by the book. I'm not going to jeopardize that by having people on who are going on the underground circuit. Yeah. So, in respect to, I allowed Ben Wellington back on. It was for me a 30-second video with the great respect to the other two. And I have got respect for the other two boys, by the way. Bashir for Curry is a good friend, and Alex Everton's a good friend. I like them both dearly. But that video is viral around the world, and that can affect you getting a license in the future. So, unfortunately, I've spoken to both people behind the scenes. I've told them my views, um, and told them, you know, in the future when things calm down and things, you know, they're not connected to that, then that's fine. But they're both going on to have more fights there, so you know, big power to them, and I hope you win every one they have.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much what I thought it would be. I mean, at this stage, you know, representing such a large brand as Spartan now is, you've got to obviously make the right business decisions, and there's nothing personal about it. It is just business. And just to say from my side as well, massive respect to King of the Streets. As you know, I had a good few lads on this show from there, and it's, you know, it's next level. But I totally get where you're coming from, you know, with the licensing and stuff.
There's
So
a divide. There's legal boxing, there's legal fighting, and there's illegal fighting.
yeah,
If you're on one side of the fence, you can't be on both. That's what I've learned. And I know people will say, well, what about pandemic? What about this? What about that? Yeah, okay. We bent the law a little bit. Yeah, and we had a couple of shows and stuff. But them days are gone now.
Yeah,
We're
well,
making it. We're making our own route on the other side of the fence.
absolutely, absolutely. So moving forward then into the last couple of things, really. Obvious question, I know for you, this one's going to be run of the mill, but people want to fight for you. People want to get in touch with you to compete on a show. How do they go about it? I know we've said this in previous interviews, but it's always good to put it out there because you're giving people these great opportunities. Do they contact you directly? Do they go in a new group? What's the deal with that side of things? Just for anyone who doesn't know, basically.
Inbox me direct, Christian Roberts on Facebook. Um, you can get me on Instagram. I can remember my name on Instagram, Christian Roberts 29. You can join official Spartan Fight Club on Facebook. Yeah, all those things really. You get us on there. TikTok official Spartan 17.
Yeah,
There you
amazing.
go.
Yeah, so it's growing online. Last couple of things then, the streaming service that you're now providing, obviously it's going to be pay-per-view, so that's exciting as well. Can you share with us a little bit about the pay-per-view side of things? Because that's a big, exciting step forward, basically.
Yeah, man. I thought, well, listen, I know we're doing the most exciting form out there. I know that because there's no draws one way or another. The two men enter, one leaves. That's that. So I think it's exciting. I think it's what people want to see. I think 20 fights for I think it's $11.99. That's about £9.70. That's less than 50p a fight.
Yeah,
So yeah, we think it's reasonably priced. 20 fights, 7 title fights, some bangers. So we think it's reasonable. It's going to be provided by Combat Sports Now. So if you head over their page or you get the link off my page, whatever, and get your pay-per-view. And yeah, man, we expect it to go well.
absolutely. Yeah, big step forward, very exciting as well. And a real bonus. So last couple of things then. What would you say to your supporters out there? I mean, it's always good to give them a mention. Obviously, fighters is one thing, but just in terms of fans now, people who support the shows, attend the shows, people who are going to be watching the pay-per-view, anyone who's a loyal supporter. Now, I'm not talking about people like who blow with the wind and when it's going well, they're with you. When it's not going well, they're elsewhere. But like the proper solid people who've supported you this far, over however many years, what would you say to any of those individuals out there?
I'd say firstly, thanks for your support. We've had some hair-raising times. We got caught doing a show in the middle of a pandemic and got a handshake and let to carry on. So roller coaster ride. Now we're back in venues and it's going well. We just thank you for your loyal support from day one. This is blowing up now, getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So, we can only thank the fans and the fighters who fight for us or have fought for us in the past and present. Can't thank them enough. We've got the best fans in the world. We have, I've watched at the O2 Arena. I'm not going to name companies and stuff, but we watched at the O2 Arena. There was a lot of trouble. I went to another one near me that was a bit of trouble on. It's over before it started, really, but still a bit of trouble. Trouble on another one. We've never had so much as an argument, around that pit or with our audience. We've got the best fans in the world, man. And I don't doubt that for a minute. They're absolutely brilliant. They always behave impeccably, and every one of them fighters that get the pit, 99.9% absolute gentlemen.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's good to give them a shout out because the sport would be nothing without those people. Last question then of the evening. Obviously, 2023 is going to be a big year for Spartan and for everyone involved. Where do you see the company and the sport of pit fighting going over the next slightly longer, maybe over the next couple of years or something like that? I mean, you're 7 years in now, and it's growing nicely, getting top talent from around the world. Couple of years from now, where do you think it'll be? Just looking to the future and talking about the dream and the vision that you have for the sport, basically.
Well, I've got no doubt in my mind that it can be as big as anybody. It's exciting, it's fast, it's brutal, it's decisive. That's the best word to say. It's decisive. So I've no doubt it can be as big as anyone. Now it's time to step into the pay-per-view, get people around the world supporting it, and And the bigger it gets, the bigger we'll get, you know. And where do we find ourselves in a few years? I would hope we're still entertaining our loyal fans. That's where I would hope we are in a few years, regardless of whether that's in a field, in a venue, in Sky Sports, whatever. I don't care. As long as we're giving our fans what they've wanted all along, that's the most important thing for us. And as long as we keep turning lives around, you know, and giving people chances and get them on the show and, you know, getting them in the programs we've got and stuff like that, you know, and helping them, you know, become a valuable member of society and get the respect that they're due and that they've not had before. And, you know, people are genuinely turning their lives around fighting for it. So, and I'm not taking any credit for that. I provide a platform and open the door, they walk through and they do it. So, you know, big up them, big up every single one of you that step over them bales, man, because you're conquering a big fear.
Absolutely, yeah. And just to close out with that, I mean, it is a beautiful thing you're doing. We're giving people these opportunities, and I know, as you say, you open the door, but like all the lads I speak to, pretty much, you know, they say it's turned their lives around, it's changed what they've been going through, mental health, physical health, you know, addictions, like all types of stuff, you know, that they've, and a lot more than that, you know, that they've sort of bounced back from, like through the shows type of thing. And as you say, obviously they have to put the work in and they have to fight and everything. You open the door, but it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, anyone who wants to fight on the shows, get in touch with this man. You know where to find him. Onwards and upwards in 2023. And really, the last thing for me to do, mate, just say a big thank you for your time again. It's been great to have a catch up and everything.
Can
And
I just give a shout out to my sponsors and that?
oh yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That is cool. Yeah, better get that in there.
I'll be shot. So on that note, Bloodshot Gum Shields, Bloodshot Sports or Gum Shields, which are called the sponsors, making proper gum shields now for pit fighters. So big shout out to them. Use UPVC windows and doors. Absolutely brilliant. They support us impeccably. Scott West Shellfish, as always, you know, always does a good service. Yeah, man, shout out to Body Power Gym, Sandbats. They're always supporting me as well. And yeah, man, but most of all, shout out to my partner. She supports me in everything I do. So there you go.
Amazing. Yeah, glad we got to give them a mention as well. Well, thank you again for taking time out of your evening. And on a personal note, it's been great to have a catch up as well because it's been too long. But it's also great to update the fans and the fighters and everyone out there who's going on. So thank you again for your time, brother. It's been awesome.
Excellent, mate. Always good to catch up, and best of luck for yourself in 2023.
Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.